think the Fed's overdone it. I think we're going to see a lot more deflation going forward. We are going to hit that 2 handle, and we will go below it, and would not be surprised to see CPI inflation negative at some point next year.
That's right. Inflation is disinflating. We're going to go hit the macro forces, the technicals, some fundamentals, and then do Q&A. Let's get started. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and start out with the macro, right? We're gonna flip over. You see the S&P, it's smashing, right? The S&P is up. Let's go. I think it's up 10% from the lows. I think it's up 10% from the lows. Yep, 9.6, whatever. The Qs are probably up a lot more. That's SPX. Let's look at the Qs really quick before we hit that inflation. Now, we probably see a pullback, but I mean, this is a very strong market. 12% in the Qs from the lows. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And this is a bear market? I don't think so. So the market is very strong. Let's go ahead and switch over to what we got issues here. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's look at the inflation. Which one we want to look at? Let's go ahead and look at this one. All right. So this is from Nick Timrose. He is like the Fed's. He's like the Fed's spokesperson, basically the Wall Street Journal. And keep an eye on this. We're going to look at this. This is when you break inflation from the 4 points we talked about yesterday, which is month on month, 3-month inflation, 6-month inflation, and 12-month inflation. We're going to come back to that, but let's look at the simple charts first, right? First and foremost. All right, left-hand side, what do we have here? We got headline inflation came in at 3.2%. Okay, 3.2%. So it's rolling over. You can obviously see inflation is starting to roll over. Let me bring it over here for you guys to see. Okay, inflation is rolling over. Let's go. It's finally rolling over. 3.2% is the rate of inflation. That's on the headline. Okay, if we look at core, it's not, core's at 4.02, but it's going to crack into the threes. It's going to crack into the threes. If we look at month on month, which was really the big surprise, month on month data was really the big thing that crushed it. This is why the market exploded higher, simply because this is August, last 3 months, August, September, October. And what you really see is for headline, we hit 0.04. That's almost 0%, right? Some of the inflation data was at 0%, but it's 0.04. So it's almost at zero. We're headed for zero on a month over month basis. But that was mostly dragged by oil prices. So does that continue? Maybe, maybe not. Oil looks like it's going to bounce here. Either way, it's deflating, right? We're seeing disinflation. Now, if we go over the month on month for core, it did bump up last month. And everybody's like, oh my God, core is going higher. We're scared. We're worried. And then it rolled over. So core is making new lows. So we see core inflation is starting to come down also. All right. Now, break it down into the components. Year over year, super core, this is X housing, right? I think this is services X housing. Yeah, you look at services inflation, which everybody's worried about, take out housing, and it had a small bump. It went from 2.76 last time. It's at 3.0. So it bumped up a little bit. Okay, X housing did bump up a little bit, but that was solely driven by transportation costs. And a little bit on the medical costs, a little bit of medical insurance, right? But mostly transportation costs, insurance is up. That's kind of what it is. You take everything else is down. On the month on month though, right? So from last month to this month, we actually tick lower, 0.26%. So headed for zero on super core. All right, year on year vehicles. I mean, those new vehicle inflation is zero. It's negative. It's negative. Used cars also came down, right? They ticked up a little bit. They ticked up slightly, but I mean, they're under 2.5%. So that's coming down. Shelter still, this is the big key for the Fed is actually going to be shelter. This is falling. What about health insurance? Yeah, health insurance as a whole actually ticked up on the month on month data. I didn't think nobody's going to ask about that, so I didn't even do the chart on it. I mean, we could quickly look at the healthcare or the medical health. I think it was like consumer spending as far as like let's see, what was it? I think it was restaurants and clothes were all down, apparel was down, but it was medical insurance, right? Medical insurance, car insurance, those ticked up slightly, right? Which means they're not falling as fast, but they're still falling. They are still falling. Now, the real key here is to look at it all on the trend. So here's your full trend. You have a bounce on the 3-month, but the 12-month, the 6-month are all falling. So in general, inflation is done. Inflation is done. 3-month basis, 3.4% versus 3.1%. Okay, great. 6-month was at 3.2 versus 3.6. That fell. We're basically headed for 2 over the next couple months, right? Especially with the slowing economy, and you hear this and you hear that. The economy is not going negative. You know, the market is ripping because it doesn't need the economy to just explode. It just needs the economy to stay afloat because the market can retain its margins going forward. So, you know, the macro also isn't just the inflation report. It also has to do with the macro forces. How do they respond? So let's take a dip over at the macro forces. I'll answer a couple questions here. What up? Welcome to the chat, Asan. Okay, we'll look at the macro forces. They changed the data behind it. Who's this? Joey Kakomo. From the company to the employees. Can you check UPST? What are your thoughts? We're gonna do technicals afterwards. Oh man, we got some haters in here. We got some haters with the haterade because the market is ripping. They're not in the market, or they're shorting. They're getting smashed, so they're pissed off, right? It's okay. I'd be pissed too if I was losing money. I'm always mad when I lose money. It sucks. But you know, you just got to accept the facts. And the facts are inflation is coming down. That's the biggest concern for investors. Fund manager surveys are showing that investors are starting to flip. Bonds are coming up. So macro forces. What do I mean by the macro forces? First, let's take a look at the dollar. Okay, the dollar getting smashed. The dollar is, you know, it's looking like it did back here. The dollar is showing risk on. This is a risk on move. Crypto is selling off at the moment, but it's probably going to be the last dip you get. Haters going to hate. That's right. And that's okay. Hey, you got to have haters, right? You know you're doing something right if there's a hater. Because hey, this is a competitive game. Is it a game? Well, you could say it's not a game, but everything's a game at the end of the day. It's very competitive. This is where the pros can interact with the novice, right? So you can get smashed here. And if you were watching the content, you saw that we called this out. We said, hey, we're going to have a rapid, vicious rally. Now, dang, where's the pullback? We've had a vicious rally, but the macro forces are rolling over. This is my big check. This is the easy way to really read the market here. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get what I'm saying, but you got to look at the macro forces. They've all been easing conditions, right? Oil came down. We know that. That's why CPI looks so good. As a matter of fact, let's take a step back. And we called this out. So I want you guys to, am I bragging here? Probably. But hey, we talked about this earlier. If you guys pay attention, check it out. Now we're getting 2 months in a row. Well, we're not there yet, but we got 1 month of down oil. That means November's inflation print, which is next Tuesday, I think we get an actual sell-off into the inflation print, trying to price in the worst or the surprise. It doesn't happen. Boom, stocks rip higher. Maybe we don't rip higher until after the inflation report next week. This is why technicals are important. This is psychology. These are the choices. These are the decisions for the actual market participants. This isn't just magic. This is not manifesting prices. This is looking and tracking the probabilities of what can actually play out. All right, so we called this out last week, and what happened? We ripped higher after. I said, hey, we're probably going to sell off into the inflation report. I was wrong. There was no sell off. The market is stronger than I thought it was, right? These people, the investors, the big hedge funds, not you guys, but the big guys were really worried. They were short. They're way too short. They were shorting extra, short. Positioning sentiment is so important. So we ripped. Now, hey, we're going to have a pullback at some point. That is the entry for a lot of these people who are missing out on the rally. They're going to enter on that rip, that pullback. We're already up on it. So anyways, the macro forces, like I was saying, the dollar showing hey, it's time for risk on. People are dumping their dollars into what, right? You don't dump the dollar. You use the dollar to buy something. You get out, right? So the dollar's coming down. And then rates, this has been the big force. Rates are breaking the trend, and they're confirming, lower rates. Are they going to collapse? I don't know. They might move sideways, but for the most part, rates are signaling that, hey, riskier assets, you see Tesla breaking out today, are going to do pretty well. Let's see. Oh, dang, there we go. I finally got validation from Dima Yush. That made my day, Dima Yush. That made my day. I got the validation from you, man. You've been here day one. I'll hit you guys. Look, we're gonna do technicals. Jump on the YouTube, go to the YouTube, subscribe, comment on the YouTube, leave your comment so I can see it on the comment. So macro forces are rolling over, right? You got the 30-year coming down, right? There's a lot of forces here. You're getting a bid in corporate bonds, right? HYG. Look at that big gap up. These are investors taking risk in corporate bonds or corporate debt. They're saying, hey, we want that debt. We want that debt. We want the yield on that debt, because debt in the corporate world is not going to hit a recession, right? Why is that? We're going to hit the fundamentals after this to give you the facts, right? These are the facts. Junk bonds up, liquid bonds, not liquid bonds, but this is all just like high yield stuff, right? They're up. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. Like, honestly, like point blank, bro, this is going to be the best performing asset right here. Mark my words. There's probably gonna be some crap coins. Chainlink has the best fundamentals. We're gonna have a video on it as always, but this thing is going to roar. Keep your eye on here. If you're always wondering, well, what is this guy investing in? What is he doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm trying to get long Chainlink because it is probably the #1 blockchain technology in the world. It has the most upside by far. Fundamentally, macro. We'll talk about it. Anyways, let's get back to where we're at. Now, Tesla ripping higher, right? Risk assets are going, and Tesla just broke out of this. What was this? This was a, look at this head and shoulders, reverse head and shoulders. We called it yesterday. If you watched my tweet on Twitter, I said, hey, it's playing out, reverse head and shoulders. It looks a lot like it did back in May of 2023, and it broke out, right? So, hey, let's see what happens. Last time it ran from 151 to 298, 300. Maybe we go to like 350 this time. We'll see, right? Especially with the new news on Tesla. What was the news? They're expanding into India. Thailand wants them to expand in Thailand. They're hiking prices in China. The margins are going back up, right? The fears of margins dropping is over. It's over. So Tesla expect to rip because there's a lot of positive news. I don't know if it rips right away. You know, Tesla's a wild stock, but what keeps these going here? Michael Burry. Oh man, I got to sneeze. Hold on. Michael Burry closed his $1.2 trillion short position. Yeah, he's out. I mean, he got ripped. If you were a short, you got ripped. You got ripped. You got checked. The market, man, it ripped harder than I thought it would. But we did tell you guys that it would be ripping. I don't know if it stays. I think it does. But we did tell you it would rip. All right, let me get through some of these comments before we hit to the fundamentals. Let me throw up the fundamentals banner so we can go through the fundamentals, right? The basics to why the market is really this is really why the market's having this rally. You're getting macro, you're getting yields come down, and you're getting the fundamentals coming back up. Health insurance was down -4% every month. Now it's up 2%. Yeah, health insurance is going to be a little volatile, but for the most part, most of it's rigged. I mean, sure, I guess you could say it's rigged. I mean, a lot of it is just, misinformation. A lot of stuff is rigged. What are your predictions on PPI? Producer prices. Hold on, make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I didn't. Producer prices. What are my? I think retail sales come in soft for one. That's going to be growth. Yields are going to come in softer. PPI probably comes in pretty soft. I mean, it might go up a little bit. I don't have a big prediction on PPI because I don't think the market cares too much about PPI right now, Demiush. But it is concerned. The market's going to be now concerned more about anything breaking, if it does. So I don't know. I think we're sound here. I think we're looking good. Did they mention anything about interest rates? Did they? I don't know who you're talking about. We did talk about rates coming down. The Fed is done hiking, guys. The Fed is done hiking because now inflation is heading for a target faster than they expected. A lot of the Fed chairmen were talking, and they were like, damn, inflation is doing better than we thought. We just showed you shelter, right? Shelter rolling over, cars rolling over, energy rolling over. Energy could come back up, but it's not going to break out because the war is not expanding to the degree that everybody thought it would. So we're not getting that. All right. And I don't think the war is going to make a big deal unless there's a big surprise. Then you'll see the S&P collapse. I know it was rigged, so I'm in leaps. Yeah, I got some. I guess you can do leaps. Prices, the store have come down. But okay, we're going to hit Q&A after, right? Let me go to the fundamentals here. I always get mixed up on that. So fundamentals, stocks and bonds. Here's some of the fundamentals. I'm going to throw the charts. I'm going to throw some of these are charts we already have. So I'll switch the screen so you guys can see on TikTok fundamentals. First, here's the first fundamentals when it comes to oil. All right, let's look at this. Here's the fundamentals for oil. Oh, that's not oil. My bad. That's not oil. That's not oil. Where's the oil fundamentals at? Oh, here they are. All right. I don't think I deleted them. So for oil, fundamentals are U.S. demand is coming down, period. U.S. demand for oil coming down. What does that do? That drags down prices because there's not enough demand, right? There's just not enough demand yet. And at the same time, the U.S. is the top consumer. Producer. We're producing the most oil. That, if you know supply and demand, you got more supply, less demand, prices go lower, right? That could change, but that's what's going on there. Let's go to the bond market. Record all-time high inflow of bonds. Okay, you're seeing a record inflow of bonds. Also, you see fund managers, investors also starting to be positive on bonds. This is the highest level since '09 for fund managers to be piling in bonds. They've been eating up the bond market for a while, right? For probably the last 3 months, I'm going to say. And so, like, to see that proxy, not the proxy, but to see the actual price action, you got to go to TLT, and you see TLT has, where is my RSI? Why is my RSI not popping up on here? Anyways, you on TLT, forget about the RSI. On TLT, you get this reverse head and shoulders, super strong technical pattern, right? And it's starting to break out. I don't even think it's made its breakout yet. It's pretty wild, but once it gets above this level, right, maybe $90, I mean, it's probably gonna have a sharp rally. What does that do? That brings rates lower. So the bond market, as long as bonds go up, stocks probably go up also. Crypto also goes up, and crypto's kind of moving on its own here. But anyways, the bond market's capitulating. So you have record inflows for retail, and you have record inflows. Well, not record inflows for fund managers, but fund managers are positioned into U.S. Treasury bonds at the highest level since '09. Okay, yes, are they bracing for a recession? Sure, but they're also not just bracing for recession. They see the Fed is done. So the Fed's next move is a cut. And if the Fed cuts, their bond collateral goes much higher. They make money on the collateral and they collect the interest. So that's very bullish. Now, stock market fundamentals. Okay, let's go to this stock market fundamentals. A lot of people are being told that, hey, stocks are down, earnings are down. Well, here's the thing. You had a very big surprise. This is this first box on the left. Very, very big surprise. The gray boxes are the old estimate. The blue boxes are the new estimate. So for this quarter, right, third quarter, we destroyed estimates. S&P earnings were way better than expected. Way better than expected, especially margins. Okay, now I know people are looking forward and saying, well, hey, look, the estimates are lower. The new estimates are lower going into the fourth quarter, going into the first quarter, going into the second quarter. Yeah, they're lower, but the earnings recession is over. So what we're seeing here is those are estimations based off of sentiment, based off of a lot of CEOs being worried. But if what happened this quarter happens again, you're getting margins, you're getting more profitability, meaning all the revenue that's coming into the stocks, right, is being retained a lot more. We talked about this yesterday. So I'm optimistic that, the earnings recession is pretty much over. It's over. The recession is over for stocks. Not all of them. We're talking about overall. Okay. Next segment here. You can clearly see on a year-over-year basis, the full year of 2024, the estimates are higher. Right. So we were looking at quarter over quarter. The next 2 quarters are supposed to be lower than this past quarter. So Q4 will be lower. Q5 will be lower, but that doesn't mean profit margins are lower. That does not mean profit margins are lower. Profit margins can either stay where they're at or continue to climb. And you probably don't know how to interpret these charts, but I'm just showing you that the chart for profit margins, meaning how much you can retain your earnings, is actually climbing. Right, it's actually climbing. So there's a lot of reasons why the S&P is up. Earnings are doing better than expected, and they're expected to go up higher. And we haven't even talked about the fiscal policies that are coming online. What do I mean? The Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act. You see AMD exploding. Nvidia is almost at all-time highs. And the infrastructure bill, right? $1 trillion of stimulus is still coming into the market. And that's why I said, hey, not just me. There's a lot of people out there. If you want to know who to follow, let me know. I'll tell you who I follow, who I listen to. But yeah, we've been talking about this rally. It's starting to materialize now. It feels good. Tesla's breaking out, and the fundamentals look pretty good. There's a lot of people still in cash. They're still bearish on the market, and once they capitulate, I mean, you only get a bigger, stronger rally. And maybe we do hit a recession. I think stocks are going to hit all-time highs and maybe either break through. There's a lot of investors, a lot of, family offices who won't even get bullish on the market until They won't even get bullish until the market hits all-time highs. So that's going to be insane. That's going to be insane. We get to all-time highs, and it looks like we're heading there. Last week I changed my mind. I was like, I don't know if the S&P can get to all-time highs. I think the Qs can. Now it's like, I think they're both getting in all-time highs. Oh, there we go. There's the RSI. RSI is getting overbought though. Okay, it is getting overbought. So once we hit overbought, you're gonna get some selling pressure come in. I mean, it's already probably gonna come in. It's just people have FOMO. They're already looking at the end of the year rally up to 4,800. I think that's what it's looking like. The Qs are close, right? The Qs are really close. Let's see how close the Qs are to the all-time high. Qs are 5%. Are you kidding me? 5%. We just moved up 12% on the Qs. You just had a 12% rally on the Qs. So it looks like we're headed there. It looks like we're headed there. It's over, right? What's your take on crypto and recession? I told you we would do Q&A. Look, if you guys want me to hit your questions for sure, jump over to the YouTube links in the description, and just post your comment on the YouTube so it sticks. And then it's a trick to get you to subscribe. I'm just going to tell you the truth. But at the end of the day, I can see your comment. It's not going to disappear versus how it does on TikTok. So Michael Burry closed his shorts. Seems he took a 40% loss. I mean, I don't know what he really took. I bet you he collected some profit and then he took a loss. Exponential moves happen when RSI is above 70. Oh, I see. So Asan, Football Legends, is saying, hey, you know what? Actually, when the RSI starts to move up, we might actually break out and have a bigger move, which is very true. This was a rapid rally. I know people are pissed off because they missed it. They were told, hey, everything's collapsing. We're going lower. Morgan Stanley, right? They were wrong, guys. They were wrong. And I would just inform you, I'm not trying to talk smack to you, but I mean, if you're ignorant, you're ignorant. You have to have a different view. I'm not saying the market can't collapse, but you want to take in new information, then make your choice. Don't ever believe just one person, not even me. Don't believe just one person. Don't just believe them. Take what they have to say, factor in other information, and then decide what makes sense, right? Use your common sense, use logic, use reasoning, use facts, use stuff that you didn't know you could use technicals, fundamentals, and then make your choice. Did they mention anything about interest rates? Who's hating? I know it was rigged. In Leaps. I like Leaps. I actually do that a lot. Oh man, my back. Who's hating? No, somebody said blah blah blah. I don't know. They're funny. People. They're short. They're probably getting killed. What is going on with Ethereum right now? All right, cool. Let's look at Ethereum. Look, crypto's on fire. Crypto is on fire, and I mean, really, you just got to pray for a pullback. Ethereum is, it has an ugly pattern. It doesn't have the best pattern, but I mean, it's Ethereum, right? Smart contracts are coming onto Ethereum, not just smart contracts, but institutions. You see that big not reversal, but you see that capitulation? That capitulation is telling you there's buyers stepping in here, right? There's a lot of buyers stepping in to Ethereum. And oh no, this is Bitcoin. I'm sorry. Wow, dummy. Where's the button at? Where's the button? I was going to say I knew something was off here. Here, I always got to tag myself for making mistakes. Where's it at?
Stupid.
All right, cool. So yeah, this is Bitcoin. My bad. This is Bitcoin. Ethereum though, same thing. It broke down from that wedge. It did form a wedge and it broke back down. This price action is going to be really volatile, I think, going forward. Just because we're waiting for the ETFs, right? You're looking for the ETFs to get passed. The Bitcoin ETF probably gets passed first. It's the talk of the town. You just added at 1410. Yeah, Link got down to 1350, I think. And I think I nibbled at 1370, 1360. I nibbled at 1410. Did it get down to 13? Am I tripping? I don't know. Thanks again though, Demiush. Appreciate it. 440 SPY tomorrow, 4,400 SPY tomorrow, he said. Did you talk about SPY? Small caps benefit from most easing economic factors. No way, bro. It's what? Parallel channels help a lot. Dollar doesn't show risk on. It's just an index. Okay, we got a newbie in here, Joey Kakamo. I'm going to call him out. He says the dollar doesn't show risk on. So the dollar is historically the dollar. Let's just put it this way here. Let's show this guy Joey. All right, let's just do an overlay really quick. S&P 500. Okay. make it clear. All right, so yeah, when the dollar actually moves up, right? When the dollar moves up, and it doesn't mean like day to day, this is not like a day trading thing, but in aggregate or in the macro, for the macro picture, when the dollar does move up rapidly to a certain level, it is going to be bearish for the overall market. Okay, so it's not a one for one correlation, but typically when the market, so we have the dollar here in green, this is the market, right? When the dollar broke out of this cup and handle pattern, okay, or you could call it like a W, right? It started to bottom out, and that's okay. The dollar could climb with stocks, but once it rips out of a level, like it really starts to rip, this was the Fed tightening. The Fed tightened, and the dollar correlates with higher rates, and the stock market got crushed. Well, you look forward, once the dollar peaked, okay, here's the dollar peak. Well, what coincided with the dollar peak? The bottom of the stock market. Stocks went higher, right? Stocks went higher. The dollar started consolidating, and then it started to rip up again. Wow, what a correlation! As the dollar rips higher, it almost had a false breakdown. Stocks come down again. So they're tightly correlated because 80% of the world's debt is denominated in dollars, and most people settle transactions in dollars. When they buy an asset, they're using the US dollar. Okay, you need dollars to buy certain assets. And when they sell, people want to hold dollars. Therefore, when the dollar comes down, right, when they sell their dollars or the pressure of the dollar comes down, they're buying some type of asset. So you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin went higher, Tesla went higher, crypto went higher. Anyways, if you ever want to debate about that, we can do that. Don't they always sell the rips? Yes, but inflation is the big issue, and inflation has ended. Inflation has ended. That is the difference here. SPY is overextended. I don't count on exponential move. If anything, you will see a pullback solely based on the fact that it is overextended on the stochastic indicators. That's right. I forgot you did have let me see. Let me check what you put in the Discord. I think you put something on the Discord here. Let's throw that up. All right. You throw up what you had on here, carbides. What else did you say? I do think we can slowly inch up higher, but it's gonna be choppy range here until another catalyst. Yeah, we do need a pullback. The market does need a pullback. I mean, it's been ripping higher, but what you do know is there's a lot of confidence, and so there's gonna be chasers into that pullback. All right, here we go. Here's what Carbides has. Let's see if I can. There we go. Make it a little bigger. All right, so stochastic. This is Bollinger Bands, right? Bollinger Bands. We're at the top. Yeah, we're pressing the top of the Bollinger Band. I think this is RSI. We're almost there. We might have a little more room. We never closed any of these gaps. You do need a catalyst. So there's a lot of people chasing right now, right? Especially with the dollar coming down. That's a macro force. The dollar doesn't signal anything. Well, look at the correlations. Yields coming down also. That's going to be strong for S&P. That means future valuations the earnings are in the future are going to be better. So I think the macro is pushing this higher. It's not really just technicals, or it's not really just it's actually earnings and fundamentals at the same time. You have really good earnings, better than expected earnings, and then much better than expected inflation, right? And that's what the concern has been. So you get you get to face your rip off rally, face ripping rally. Let's see what else we got here. Small caps benefit the most. Yeah, small caps do. They're very rate sensitive. That's probably why. Have you talked about SPY? A little bit. Do you think we're going to come down for the rest of the week? We're going to consolidate or pull back. I mean, the SPY is up a lot. It's going to have to pull back at some point. It's up a lot. So I guess we can look at some of the levels for the SPY. I mean, look at that beauty. What a beauty. What a nice chart. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Let's get back on here. What a nice chart. Yeah, that's a breakout if I ever saw one. Look at, boom. There's your breakout. Flag pattern, right? Bullish flag pattern, boom, breakout. Let's go 200. Where's the 200 moving average at? Oh, okay, I guess I'm not on it. Let's see. Oh, and look at the EMAs also. I might have changed these up. I think I changed these EMA or the SMAs to the quarterly moving averages. Did I? Yeah. So these are the quarterly moving averages. You got to put that on the weekly chart. But you're getting golden crosses, right? The shorter time frame is crossing above the two other time frames, golden cross. Look, Qs are headed for all-time highs at this point. Should they have a pullback? Yeah, they probably come back and fill this gap for the Qs, right? At some point, 30. Let's put on gaps. Let me throw the gaps on there. Right, so here's a gap at 378.50. That's a gap that it probably fills. What else we got? SPY down to 441. That might be a gap. I don't know if it fills, but it could. You get, a couple bad news, something in the Middle East. Investors get a little concerned, or they want to buy it's ripped too high. The people who bought down here, they could sell some off and say, okay, we're up a lot. Let's collect profits and then buy back a little later. What else you got? Carbide stochastic indicator is from 0 to 100, and we are at 97. Confluence, higher probability of price retracement. Yeah, we should have I think we're gonna have it. Probably Friday. I bet Friday. My guess is, what do we have? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe Friday we have a nasty profit taking day going into Friday. I wouldn't doubt that. It could be tomorrow. Who knows? It could be tomorrow. What EMAs am I using? It depends on what you're talking about. I'm using on the daily charts, I'm using the 20, 50, 100, and 200. On the day trading charts, I'm using the 9 and the 21 EMA. You just want a shorter and longer term time frame. We gap up no matter what. I want to gap down. Is Chainlink going down again? That guy's name is Ro Jogan. That's interesting. Is Chainlink going to go down again? I mean, when crypto rips lower, it rips lower. I think you're going to have a chance to get some Chainlink. Let's see. I mean, it's had a pretty, could come down to like 1250, I think, if it does at the lowest. What do you say? It could also go up and stick tight to the Bollinger Band mega bull rally. Ooh, okay, so that'd be a mega bull rally. Do we get a mega bull rally? I don't know. I'm not going to predict a mega bull rally. I know, it's hard to predict, but we do know. I think we'd agree, Carbide's right. Consolidation or pullback's going to be a little more healthier. I think so. So I think we get a pullback at some point. Oh man, Joey, let me see how many followers you got. 198. Yeah. See, maybe I missed what you had to say. Don't think we're gonna come down for the rest of the week. Yeah, I read that. Oh no, that wasn't you. Okay, well, anyways, man, that's funny. This guy's comments, yikes, I'm out. Bro doesn't read chat. Bro, what do you think this is? A stream to be cool? This is investing. This is finance, bro. If you get your feelings hurt, like, you shouldn't even be here. Or jump on the YouTube so I can see your stuff. What is a technical reversal for SPY? I don't know. No more hikes. Santa Claus rally election year, new highs for sure. Okay. You can cover with call and sell on the way down. Okay. We're gonna go parabolic now. Air. Bro, sometimes your guys' comments, like, they just don't make any sense on TikTok. You guys are not very clear, which is why I always say jump over to YouTube. You can write a paragraph. You can write 2 sentences, make it clear so I can understand, right? So the audience knows what you're saying. You just kind of like a bird. You just chirp a little. You chirp stuff that has no grammar. So make sure it makes sense, bro. All right? So you can contribute to the chat. Instead of crying. Some dudes just cry like they've never been criticized before. They don't get the full attention, so they start crying. Oh my God, you didn't read my thing. Jump over to YouTube though if you want me to be clear. Just like Fallout. Well, I don't know how to say your name. I'm just gonna call you Fallout. Do you think now we'll pause again in December? Yeah. Bro, look how you spelled December. Take your time. Take your time, Fallout. Okay. It just makes for a better stream, better content. So do I think we're going to pause is what you're asking? Yeah, I think the Fed is done. The Fed is done. Inflation is coming down. There are some delinquency risks. Would you say crap rally today? What were you short, Bukowski? I think there's some delinquency risks that The Fed doesn't want to exacerbate. There's commercial real estate risk. There's still some risks. They're not like ginormous. The Fed will probably step in, but they're not going to tip the scale, right? They're not going to. They're going to allow. Right now, the rates at 5.5%. It's already putting pressure on the interest rate companies, on companies that are not profitable. It's putting pressure on banks still. A lot of banks, a lot of companies who have to refi, right? Have to refinance. They're gonna get smashed. So what a day. Would you say no crap stocks are rallying? Oh, I see what you're saying. Crap stocks are rallying. Okay, a lot of crap stocks. Well, that just tells you that there's, what is it, IWM? Dang, IWM's up again. That just tells you a lot of investors are trying to get alpha, right? They're trying to get beta. They're reaching for the stocks that have gotten destroyed. They don't believe, like, big money doesn't actually believe we're headed into this deep recession where everything, or else they wouldn't be buying crap stocks, like you said, right? They wouldn't be buying these stocks. Let's go look at the ARK fund. ARK's probably up a lot if that's true. Okay, so ARK had a nice run. Apple's up. Apple's breaking out of that wedge, out of that wedge pattern. See crap stocks. Let's see who's been crappy. Square's been pretty crappy. Teladoc. Dang, Teladoc looks like trash. Looks like a bear flag. Who else? ENPH has been getting crushed. Oh, ENPH had a nice return. Carvana did okay. Who else we got in here? Shopify, CRM. I don't know. I don't have too many crap stocks, but I'm sure that they are rallying. I think it's good. I think it's market breadth, Bukowski. I would say that's good market breadth. I'm 3x bull since 4,100. Okay. 3x bull on what? It was crappy to trade today. You had to take the risk yesterday. Oh, I see. Yeah. What'd you say? The true buying where everybody should have loaded is when the meter turned into extreme fear. Yeah, exactly. Extreme fear. And then you pick your spot. Like typically you look at the cues and you say, okay, when is it extremely oversold? This is weekly. Let's go to the daily. Okay, daily chart got oversold right here. And that was extreme fear. And that was probably the best. All the selling. This is probably one of the best times to get in. Now, are you buying the cues? I don't know. Maybe future traders are. But you go look to the stock correlated with the cues. Or maybe it's the SPY, right? You go look at the SPY. The SPY got ripped even worse, I believe. Let me remove this. KRE, TAN, 3D. Okay, 3D printing. Yeah, so this was extremely, and there's some bullish divergence, right? That's in the way, but you can see here, look at the RSI. This thing keeps popping up. But on the RSI, you get you have some bullish divergence because price is falling, but the RSI is like kind of picking up or sideways. That's bullish. So you should have got in here and said, okay, what can I get in the SPY? What can I get in the SPY? There's going to be a pop higher. I don't know if it stays, but there will be a pullback a retracement up to some degree at some point. And it did happen. We could have rolled over, but the macro came in line, right? All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what some of these TikTok guys have to say. I'm going to try to be nicer because I really tear them up. And none of them will come on and debate. They just want to talk behind the scenes. What is a technical reversal for SPY? I don't know, really understand what your question is. Jump on TikTok to ask a better YouTube to ask the question a little more clearly. I don't know what you're asking. No more rate hike, Santa Claus rally. Yeah, you can cover with calls and sell on the way down. Cover calls. Okay, we read that. What are your thoughts about SPX? We just talked about that. Sitting on a strike for 4,600, up 38%. Nice. Congratulations. Don't spend your time on him. Keep going. Okay, I don't know who you're talking to. Price target for Chainlink, I'm going to say between 100 and, man, that's a big price target. For sure, I think Chainlink gets to 100, right? Somewhere between 85 and 100 on the low end. On the high end, I'm going to say 150 to 240. That's a big, it could get crazy, right? So definitely over 100 or over for sure. I'm going to say like 150. We commented like 10 minutes ago, no offense. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Bro, if you guys listen, I say jump to YouTube, comment on YouTube so it sticks. I can see it because if you understand TikTok, use common sense, right? Every time somebody joins the live, it literally pushes the comments higher, bro. So they don't stick. It pushes it higher. It shows a join as a comment, so you're gonna get lost. So as I said, if you know how to follow directions, either keep spamming the same question or jump over to YouTube and then ask the question, or else What am I going to do? Keep scrolling? Like, use your common sense here, right? You guys can see the chat. You should be able to see the chat. Come on now. And don't complain like a little girl. Like, either ask it again, or, and I'm not saying everybody's doing that, ask it again or follow directions. Stop complaining. Some of you guys are just like crybabies. Goodness sake. Think we have a bit of sell off tomorrow. Yeah, we got to consolidate. We got to pull back at some point. Money went down because stocks. I don't know. Bruh. Okay, I don't know what that means. Dude's name is Drake. Okay. Have you checked out Amazon? Looks prime for breakout. Amazon looks good. Yeah, we've looked at Amazon. All right, I'm going to jump to YouTube. A technical reversal for SPY would be a sharp rejection of the most recent all-time high into a double top. See, you got the answer right here on YouTube. That's why I say jump over to YouTube. It'll be easier. All-time high double top. The reversal would be confirmed if it breaks under 405. So Carbides is saying that a strong reversal would be a retest of this recent high. So what are we at? Oh, we almost got to 4. We got about what, 450? So here's the answer to that question, whoever asked that question. All right, so a strong reversal would look something like this. Maybe we gap down, we come up, and then we just get slammed, right? Is that what you're saying? You get a double top? Yeah, that'd be a double top. So you come up again, double top. You get the double top, top, and then you break lower. What'd you say? 405? Bro, 405 is way down here. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm thinking he's meaning intermediate. Yeah, that's okay. You're talking about a big reversal. Okay. Yeah, it's always time frame. Like, guys, if you're asking for a question on the technicals, what is your time frame? Are you speaking about tomorrow, the next day, the next week, a month, 6 months? Everything is different. Use math. Double top 459. Okay, that's a reversal. 459. What am I looking at the wrong index here? S&P 449. Is that what you meant? 449. I think you meant 449. Of the bull trend. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's Carbides. That's the way we need you on here, bro. Have you checked out Amazon? AMZ? Yeah, Amazon looks pretty. I haven't even looked at Amazon, but it does look good. Looks like it's breaking out. Looks like it's breaking out. Here, we'll go to, I guess we are kind of doing technicals, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We do this all the time. Can you check CLF? Dang, why is there so many people that like CLF? What is this? There's so many people like on TikTok that are always in a CLF. Shout out to Big Man's Coming. What is Cleveland Cliffs? Why do people love this so much? What is it? I mean, it looks okay, but what's the narrative? That's going to be important. What is the narrative, right? Is it going to benefit from fiscal policy? I don't know. So tell me what this is first. Cleveland Cliffs. Tell me what that is. Every stock I own had a bad crash. We have extreme greed today. Yeah, pretty strong greed. It's trust me. It's trust me. What? Oh, PPI prediction. Thank you, Demiush. PPI prediction. That's a good question. Let's see where PPI is at really quick. Let me take a look. PPI is month on month or year over year, Demiush. It looks like the month on month is coming in. The expectation for the month on month is 0.1. That's a hard expectation right there. 0.1. I would say because oil prices fell, you're probably going to get a pretty good PPI number. You're probably going to get a pretty good PPI number just because oil is a lot of the big inputs to producer prices. Oil is such a big input. So I don't have an exact number right now. I think right now I'm just going to go with you're either in line or you missed to the downside. All right, Slime Z, we'll catch you later, bro. NQ is actually kissing the backside of the red line from the December bottom. This would be an epic bull trap. Man, you sound why do you sound so bearish today? Let me see. I know this is not NQ, but is NQ? Are you looking at futures? Oh, Nasdaq CME futures. Okay. If deflation is real, we'll be so sad. By the way, my stream is disinflation, not deflation. Disinflation is a slowdown in inflation. Disinflation is when prices turn negative. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about deflation. I mean, disinflation. Some things are going to be deflationary, though, right? Some things will be deflationary to some degree. Anyways, what'd you say here? NQ is actually kissing the back side of the red line from the December bottom. Oh, I know what he's talking about. Okay, I see what you're saying. I got you. You're talking about this, right? Okay, I see what he's saying. Massive bull trap. Yeah, except for bull traps aren't built on technicals. They're usually built on, right now it's going to be macro. So if you do get the dollar surge for some reason, I know what you're talking about. The dollar surges, oil like comes up, scares people. But right now, I don't know, man. I don't think it's a bull trap. I don't think that's this kind of rapid rally is not a bull trap. That's real buying power. That's a lot of volume there. So look at all this volume. It's not a bull trap. Unless you see this, right? This could always play out, but I think the probability is very low. You get another head and shoulders, right? So yeah, we'll stay tuned. I just don't think that's the case right now. And then to answer your question about deflation, yeah, deflation wouldn't be great. Chart CLF, please, when you can. I know you're busy with the bashers. Hey, well, thanks for being persistent and not throwing a fit like other people. I'll chart CLF, but I did ask you guys what the hell it was. Okay, here's CLF. Looks like it's making some. Looks like the bottom's like 13. Let's go. Let's see CLF. You have a lot of consolidation. See, that guy didn't give up and he didn't cry like a baby either. There's a lot of people in line, I guess. All right, here we go. Looks like you have resistance here, bro. CLF resistance at 1750 to like 18. So between 1750 and 18, still has some room to go. Is going to be a nice. That's a breakout, retest. You're getting this is a cup and handle also, bro. So you do have this, a big cup and handle, right? Cup, handle. So what you might get is a breakout maybe. You want to wait for that retest, either on 1750 or 18, and then the move higher for CLF. Do I offer any services? I do, Fallout. I do have, you can schedule with me if you want on my profile. I think I put it in the description. It's on TikTok for sure. I'll put that on the screen. Go to my profile and then you can schedule a meeting if you want. I am building a course that goes through pretty much everything that I've learned over the last 6 years. And so I'm building a course. Just stay tuned. It'll be ready maybe by January, I'm hoping. Other than that, you can just ask questions for now. But yeah, I'm trying to get some services out there. But yeah, so here's CLF. I'd also say, what was I going to say? Look at the moving averages really quick. Let's see CLF. See what CLF looks like on here. Thanks for being patient. Also, whatever your name is, Krish Holmgren. Thanks for being patient. CLF. There's a gap to fill. 1665. Little gap there. Had a baby move higher. And then if I throw the EMAs on, ooh, it looks good. EMAs are starting to cross. CLF looks great, bro. CLF looks great. I'd say 1750, 18. Now, here's the thing about me. Okay, this is just me. I don't like to buy breakouts. I'd rather see it show it has strength and then wait for the pullback. You got to be very patient. Most people are not patient. They just want to buy. But it could just do this and then come back down, right? So wait for the breakout. You know there's real strength. Wait for the pull in. Wait for the buyers to step in at 1750 to 18. And then, yeah, and then your stop is literally below 1750. Because you're like, okay, my stop's going to be below here, right? I don't want to get any, I know you can't see the price. It's kind of, it's not the best. That's why YouTube's better. But for sure, that's what I would say. Hopefully that made sense to you. You can replay it on YouTube if you want. Hopefully that satisfies you. Thanks for being patient. Bro, getting sassy. Yo, you don't even know, bro. I'll get worse than that. It's just, bro, some of you guys are, not like all of you don't take it personal, but some dudes are just like, they've never been criticized or they throw fits like little girls, bro. And I'm not putting up with that crap. You could say it. I mean, don't get me wrong, but jump on here and debate or just stay in. There's a lot of people asking questions. Like, yo, I was a teacher for a while too. So I know how it is. Kids throw a little fit, and you just got to tell them. I don't believe you should trade patterns right after huge news. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. It's just me. It's a still company. Okay, cool. Oh, the chance of PPI disappoints. I don't think the market cares about PPI right now as much as CPI, to be honest with you. I just don't think that's a big deal. I think B may be better than CLF. Oh, B, somebody mentioned that. What is B? Why are you guys looking at Steel Group? Man, this thing got crushed. What is this, Barnes & Noble? A lot of gaps to the upside, not sure. Cleveland Cliffs. Oh, Cleveland Cliffs. That's who a lot of the CNBC people are talking about. They're always talking about Cleveland Cliffs. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. I know a lot of tech companies. So Cleveland Cliffs, it looks straight. From what I saw, above 1750 and 18 is going to be some strength. There's a gap below it at like what 1650, something like that. Big infrastructure for Tommy Tuberville behind the metal company. All silver stocks breaking out big time. Silver, FSN, silver stocks are breaking out. Silver stocks. Let's see what that looks like. FSN. I don't know what that is. That didn't show up on my radar. Hey, thanks, Chris. Please chart FSN. Bro, FSN? I don't know why that doesn't show up. I don't see FSN. I don't know what that is. I don't see any FSN. Doesn't show up on my radar. Do you think PPI coming out tomorrow will affect SPY? And if so, what do you think will happen? I don't think S&P cares too much about PPI. If anything, S&P is overbought. So it's going to pull back on anything that isn't great. It's going to pull back on anything that isn't great. So if PPI, you also have retail sales. Okay, you also have retail sales, which I think are going to be more important than PPI because retail sales are now going to reflect how fast the consumer falls off a cliff, right? Let me put this on YouTube. So PPI, me personally, I don't think the market cares as much. I think it's going to be looking at retail sales. The expectation is -3. So expectation is retail sales go negative again. We haven't seen this since what, February, March. And I think they are negative because they have a new metric that came out and it shows like it updates every week. So is the market going to be surprised? I don't think so, unless it beats to the downside. So if we get worse than -0.3, the market could, I think the market pulls back anyways. This is what I'm trying to say. It's easy for the market to pull back at this point. It's up too much. Positioning came in really quick, not all positioning, but the market has ripped up so much. It's going to be much more sensitive to weak data or something that doesn't align, which is lower than this or maybe even much higher than expected. If retail sales comes out super strong, you might see rates move higher, S&P sells off. If it comes out weaker, oh my God, recession coming quicker, S&P sells off. If it comes in right in line, S&P might still sell off because it's overbought. You know what I mean? B the 21 EMA, so it's on top, I think has potential. Is good news bad news? Is good news bad news? Oh, FSM is what you meant. Yeah, we went over retail sales. Is good news bad news? You know what? We'll see how the market reacts. Right now, we just had I would say that CPI just kind of reset. This reaction from CPI kind of reset expectations for investors. So we don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to say I know if good news is bad news at the moment, but I will say that the market, because the market ripped so high and it's up so much, we're not going to know because there's so much pressure to the upside. Once we get consolidation for a good 3 or 4 days, and then you get some news coming in, we'll see if it reacts good or bad. That's how I look at the market for the most part. That's how I look at it, right? It's not, you don't just know, nobody knows. I don't know either. But if we, like I said, you need some consolidation. That just means investors are waiting for something, right? Our big money's waiting. They're keeping the price up a little bit. Nobody's selling too much. And then if you get some really, really good news, I'm sorry, not really good news. If you get strong growth, we'll see if the market likes that or doesn't like it. But right now, after today, it's way too strong. It's up way too much. So it's kind of distorted for tomorrow. right? It's more likely we have a pullback, possibly fill the gap, but it's just more likely we pull back at some point at this point, at this moment. That's my thoughts. Nvidia earnings could be a catalyst. I'm hearing Nvidia has a monster chip, and then AMD has another chip with more memory. I think Nvidia is killing it right now. Good on those. Not sure what you're talking about, bro. FSM, you will love the chart. FSM, okay, FSM, bro. How's that gonna be your stock and you didn't even know what it was? Oh yeah, reverse head and shoulders. Yeah, it looks good. Reverse head and shoulders here. FSM. You got like 2 shoulders. You got a head. You got 1 shoulder. It is breaking out. Yeah, FSM is breaking out, but it's been in such a downtrend. I'm not a fan of commodities right now because what is the use case for silver? Is it like gold? It's just money. It looks good. Don't get me wrong. It looks like a breakout. More than likely, I would want to see this. I'd want to see it break out, retest, and then show support and then move higher. Or maybe it just moves up. So that looks good. Some miners look pretty good. I think they're going to do best. What? Because the Fed is going to pause here. But again, I think crypto is going to outrun this, Mr. Miner, FSM. Not to say you should have crypto because obviously you probably know more about this. And, if you don't have time to learn or you don't really care about crypto, that's totally fine. If you're going to make money, you're going to make money. But I guarantee you, crypto will outrun FSM. Can I really guarantee that? Not really. That's my bet. That's just my bet. You gave me so much game. Thank you. Yeah, 100%, bro. I mean, I'm making a course, like I said, to try to explain this in an organized manner. Everything, technicals, macro, fundamentals, but it takes time, right? There's not too much out there. I want to take my time on it. Silver used in many industries, dollar down, interest rates down, crypto's down big. Silver's used in many industries. Yeah. So silver, if you're looking at it from a commodity, so here's some game for you guys. If you're looking at silver as a commodity play, in general, commodities are weaker, right? They haven't been too strong. That's why silver's down, because commodities growth is slowing. The manufacturing economy hasn't really got to like breakout levels yet. Manufacturing is down. Silver is going to be down. Commodities are down. Wheat is down. I mean, these things are down because the economy has not kicked in fully yet. Copper, gold, right? Gold is a little different though. I think silver is more akin to gold. It's a little more reflective of gold than anything. But I'm not saying silver is not good. I'm just saying that if you're looking for the biggest trade, I don't think it's in silver. But hey, you're gonna make money on silver. Good. I hope you make money, bro. Steve. Hope you make money, Steve. Dollar down. Yeah, silver probably goes higher with the dollar down, right? Interest rates down 100%. Crypto's down big, bro. What are you like? I'm sorry, Steve. I'm gonna have to call you out, Steve. You look like a baby boomer, and so you probably just think you see, a red candle on crypto, and you're like, oh my god, crypto's down. Let me just show you. Let me put you on game, Steve. Crypto's down. I mean, any stock can be down at any moment, right? I mean, you could literally, something you could go up for a week, it pulls back, it's down, right? So let's use common sense here, Steve. Okay, I know you're a baby boomer, bro, but let's use common sense. I guarantee you Bitcoin's outperforming your silver stock. It's up 143% from November of last year. So year to date, up 140%. Ethereum might be up even more. Chainlink, this is my pick. This is just from June. Chainlink was up 227%. Right now it's up 172. So when you say crypto's down, it depends where you're coming from. If you just mean day to day, well, how useful is the information? Are you, how useful is that information? It sounds like you're trying to say silver's outperforming crypto. It's not, Steve. Hey, respectfully, I disagree with you, Steve. Mullen Automotive to do moon soon. Okay, cool. Look at crypto today. Oh, today. Steve, come on. Today, bro? Crypto's more volatile, so of course it'll outperform. Yeah, sure. I have owned cryptos and I have never owned. Bro? Steve, you said I have owned cryptos. You probably meant I never owned cryptos, huh? And I never will. And that's fair. You're a baby boomer, of course not. But crypto's still gonna outperform your silver. You'll never. Yeah, crypto will outperform you. Hey, as a matter of fact, you have 1,000 followers, Steve. You wanna jump on, Steve, and talk about silver? Are you brave enough to jump on and have a small debate before I leave? I always want to get me a good debate before we get out of here. What do you say, Steve? You want to debate, Steve? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yes, we got a debater. Let me put the. Let's get the. Oh, I don't have it. Okay. I'll just do this. Shout out to you, Steve. All right. Let's see if we get Steve on here. Steve, ask to join. Okay, Steve. I want you to ask to join, Steve, and then we'll throw you on, bro. My chain link is up 200% since early summer. Shout out to you. I'm looking for the multi-guest, Steve. I'm Steve. I'm really trying to get you on here, bro. Just ask to jump on the live. I think you have to. You got to click a button. See, I don't know if I can just join, please. Do I have to be following you? I don't think I have to follow you. There you go. There's a button right next to the chat box that says multi. Click that, Steve. There you go, Steve. And then ask to follow the guest. Your chain links up 200%. Yeah, we're killing it. So we'll see if Steve is able to get on. Steve is I'm guessing he's a smart guy who is not unfamiliar with crypto, but he is familiar with what used to be what crypto has replaced, which is gold and silver, the commodity cycles. Thoughts on LAC? Let's see what LAC is. Lithium. Isn't China getting into lithium? Or ExxonMobil, I think. Come on, let's get Steve on here. House passes GOP plan to avert government shutdown this weekend. Boom, there goes the market again. The market might have priced that in, honestly. I think the market's up too much, guys. I think it might be up too much. Still waiting for you. Can't find the link. Steve, you better not be playing with this, bro. I'm pretty sure you just hit guest. I don't know. You guys tell Steve what to do. He has 1,000. He has 1,000 followers. So let's see. Maybe I can. Oh, I sent you an invite. There we go.
There I am.
Oh, there you are, Steve. What up, Steve?
I think I did it. Hey, what up? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Let's talk silver, commodities. I'm an old guy. I'm 77. I'm a retired school principal. Been trading stocks and commodities and everything since I was 13 years old.
Okay, hey, good to hear from you, man. I always love somebody to jump on. Well, shoot, no wonder you're not in crypto. You don't need to take that risk, huh?
Well, I actually had a friend who was mining cryptos. I have a couple classic cars, and I met him at a car show. And he did it early on. I'm talking really early, right? Where he mined for a year and I think got 10 Bitcoins and got frustrated and sold it. It would be a multi-millionaire now. I'm talking when it was below $50, okay? So I followed it from day one. I have an issue with cryptos, and it's just simple. It goes back, you're right, because I'm an old baby boomer. As an alchemist, you can't make rocks out of gold. I realize it's no different than a piece of paper, and it's backed and it has a reason. My gripe with cryptos, until I can walk into 80% of all establishments and use it as commodity instantly without going through a different channel, I have a hard time, using it. Secondly, I think a lot of it's used for money that can't go anywhere else, if you know what I'm talking about. Illegal operations. Not that I care if they do it. I don't particularly like what it is, but I can't get behind a legal tender. It's not legal. A tender that has those specifications. I just can't do it. I think it's going to fizzle out.
Okay, cool. No, that's a fair assessment. I would say this, Steve, that you don't know something until you've really spent the research on it, for number one. So those are credible ways to say, hey, I don't want to do that. I would say this, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Tesla, all the big S&P companies that made a big move, they were not popular. There were no iPhones. There was no Amazon Prime. Google didn't exist, right? But those were the times to get in. So the real question is it going to survive? And I think that's the next question. And you talked about, and what I'm getting at here is, yes, if you want to see it being used throughout the U.S. The thing is, it's being used around the world a lot, right? The check this out, Steve. You probably didn't know this. Okay, the Bitcoin wallet addresses are growing faster than the internet in the 90s. From 92 to 97, it's outpacing the internet, meaning there are people coming online using Bitcoin, except these are people you probably don't know because it's a younger generation, right? So that's actually happening. There's a reason why BlackRock is creating a Bitcoin ETF, because there's so much demand for Bitcoin. Number two. Number three, you said illegal tender. It is not legal tender yet. It is legal tender in some other countries. A lot of other countries use it. And also the US dollar is used for more illegal transactions than any other currency on the planet. And actually it's easier to catch criminals using Bitcoin because everything is actually public on chain. If you look at any FBI, if you listen or you watch anything on the FBI or the CIA trying to catch people using Bitcoin, it's actually way easier because they can track them. So those are just myths. I'm not saying, hey, you're wrong, Steve, but there's arguments against that.
You have valid arguments, okay? Because you follow it a lot longer than I. And blockchain technology is a revolution. There's no doubt about it. And you're right. If enough people believe it to be, a solid form of exchange, and I do realize, worldwide is catching on, but a lot of the countries that are using it, like I've got a guy painting my house, I live in Santa Barbara, and he's from 18 months out of Argentina. And he said, I came here 18 months ago, and it was a 220 ratio of dollars to pesos over there. Now it's 1,000 to 1. So a lot of the countries with super hyperinflation, it does have a purpose there, I think more so than countries that are stable. So you have valid arguments in the pro case.
And we'll get to commodities. I want to hear your thoughts on commodities. I actually think Bitcoin's more of a commodity than a currency. That's like the new age thinking of it. It's more like a commodity. It's the SEC and the CFTC are actually classifying it as a commodity. But let's hear what you have to say about commodities. Let's hear it.
Right. Okay. Silver's had a lot of cycles. I've been in it way before you even born, when the Hunt brothers tried to corner the market in the 70s and silver ran to 40. I've been through other super cycles that ran about 30, 35. If you go on a 100-year chart, and I chart everything, like I'm sure you do. And I follow moving average. I've read every technical analysis book there is. The long-term chart on gold and silver, it doesn't. If you took the S&P and take your 9% and the Warren Buffett approach, you've done better off, okay, than you have with any commodity, or not all, but most. What I like in this formation here is the cycle of recession, high interest rate to low interest rate. I've played this cycle 3 times, right? And the move you're seeing now, if you look at the base for silver, copper, gold's a little different than those, but the industrial commodities that have industrial usage, right? They're rock bottom. They've been bottoming now for a year and a half. They had a cycle when gold hit about 2002 years ago. And if you look at the charts, they've had false breakouts a couple times. And like you said, you saw the head and shoulders today on that one. And that's a smaller company, SFM. And if you look it up, they have some really good prospects mine. A Canadian-based company, and they have stuff in South America and some in South Africa. Opened up a new mine, not to get specific. It's producing now for the first time, and their fundamentals are really good. If you look, the latest earnings came out last week. But in general, silver itself was a huge commodity when the photographic industry, when before you had digital. It died off because of that, but now the solar and anything with clean energy, right, uses a huge amount of silver. And it's going forward, it's going to be a lot more. Same thing with copper going forward. So I think it's a good time. You can't make money in precious metals during a rate cycle that goes up. You will lose. There's no doubt about it. I think we've come to the end of that cycle, and I've jumped in 2 other times on a similar situation, and I've got moves on some of the ones that I play, and I'll give you some names after, of 3, 4, 500%. I think we're at the base and the beginning of that move.
Okay, and it sounds like, Steve, that I think we're actually in the same type of macro cycle here when it comes to crypto. You're just in silver, you're in that commodity. I'm looking at crypto here, which is these are really risk assets. I don't know. Would you would I don't know how you like? There's a lot of terminology, but I look at crypto as a risk asset, tech as a crypto as a risk asset. I would even say silver is a risk asset in this point, which is we're playing the rate cycle, we're playing the recovery. I always tell people, look, you have the expansion in the economy, you have the contraction, you have the recession, you have the recovery. The recovery phase is where you make all the money. That's where the big move is. So it sounds like you're on the same page, which is the Fed is done hiking. Okay, well, silver's pressure to the downside is pretty much done. They're done hiking. The economy has already kind of been through in a recession. I think so anyway. I think there is no recession. If they do, the Fed steps in. Guess what? If the Fed prints money to step in, silver goes higher because they're debasing the currency. Also, if the economy is recovering, like you said, there's going to be more production, more use of silver in the building blocks of technology XYZ, right? So it sounds like you're playing the cycle like me. I call it the macro cycle, and we're literally at the best point, the best opportunity. It kind of sounds like we're doing the same thing just with different assets.
I think, but you gotta sell me on how our crypto. See, cryptos. I follow them, but I was in Riot one time and Mara a few times, but I've never touched the actual crypto per se in buying it, through a Coinbase or whatever. Uh, Tell me why crypto hit 60,000, right? And then interest rates plummeted. That was during COVID time when money was zero. You couldn't miss in the stock market back then. Back then too, I made a ton. Last year, it wasn't a good year for me in the market. I think with 90%, unless you were short, you didn't make much money unless you're really lucky, or Nvidia, or etc. But tell me why crypto was 60,000. We had 0% interest rate, and then we go down to what, 16, 18. We made a nice move off that base. Okay, but going forward, when you have, in other words, I think it was used as a vehicle to park your money, get some exposure to risk without being in stocks. I think that's coming to an end. I think actually we may have topped in crypto because of that, because no one could touch. You got two choices besides crypto now. You have 5% T-bills, which down a little bit today, and you have stocks. I think for the first time you can start touching them, right? Even though PE, you're talking 19 on the S&P, which is fairly valued. But I don't think you had an option last year, and I think crypto may have topped. So tell me why you don't think that's happening.
Okay, so I want to address one thing at a time. So you said, so it sounds like what you're saying is crypto is only useful when in a very low rate environment, correct?
I believe so, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, let's start with the inception. In crypto, by the way, is 99% is trash. Just so you know, I'm not for all of crypto. We just use the word crypto, mostly Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm really big on Chainlink, which is literally all the central banks are using it. I do want to get into that, but let's start with crypto. So crypto was created, or Bitcoin was created. Bitcoin is not even crypto, by the way. It's not. It's a commodity. Nobody knows who controls it, how it was created. It has a full consensus mechanism where you're mining electricity, you're making profits on it. The supply cuts in half. Nobody can change that actual programmability of Bitcoin. Nobody can change it on their own. You can't even get a team. You'd have to get the whole world, half the world, to actually lose money for that to happen. That's not going to happen. So, but I get what you're saying. Crypto, a lot of cryptos will never make it back to where they were, just so you know. So I'm with you on that. A lot of them won't. So the real question is, what is the use case for crypto? Well, for Bitcoin, the use case is it's a digital gold. It's a digital gold, and so that it is completely scarce. There's only 21 million Bitcoins. So right now we're at like 19 million Bitcoins. Somebody fact check me if I'm wrong, but you guys know what I'm getting at here. I haven't really looked at the supply lately.
Yeah, I thought it was close to 22, and Fujioka, the guy from Japan, and I've read the whole history of it.
Okay.
You're right. It's a finite commodity.
It's a finite commodity, right? It's a finite commodity, and it has its own monetary policy, blah blah blah. Also, it's it's censorship resistant. So the government couldn't. First of all, the government's not really banning crypto anywhere. They just don't know what's going on. It's disrupting a lot of legacy systems. But for sure, when it comes to Bitcoin, anyways, It's just a commodity. It's a digital gold. It's a way to store value. You know, instead of going on offshore and using some bank for richer people or for people who have a lot of money, they're just like, hey, let's just buy some Bitcoin, put it on chain, and you know, nobody can confiscate that from me. So, but let's move off of Bitcoin. I don't even think I think that's kind of, you know, a lot of people don't believe in Bitcoin. Let me tell you something that's real. This is called Chainlink. Okay, Chainlink.
Is that different than Ethereum? Ethereum or
Yes,
someone
yes.
else?
Ethereum is called a layer one, so try to make it. Ethereum is basically the platform that enables all cryptocurrencies to create smart contracts. Smart contracts are just like the real world contracts, except for they self execute uh, by code. So it's basically everything you use every day, right? You're using code every day. You just don't know it. We don't know it. We interact with it using our phones, using our computers, but we don't really know. These are contracts that you can create any type of contract, whether it's for decentralized finance. That's the main thing right now is DeFi, creating everything that the current traditional financial system can create, except for faster, cheaper, more efficient. And we're not there all the way yet, right? So Ethereum creates smart contracts. You can build pretty much any type of application on Ethereum. So it's like the stakeholder. It's like owning a piece of the internet, they say, right? But I want to get to Chainlink because this is the biggest use case. I'm so bullish on Chainlink. So Chainlink, the way to think about Chainlink is um, right now, the entire banking system, we all know they're screwed. We all know they're insolvent. There's all these issues that go on with accounting, with fraud, blah, blah, blah. So the entire system right now, from central bank, like the World Economic Forum has talked about this, they're going to actually move on to the blockchain. You heard Jamie Dimon talk about it. You hear even Warren Buffett said not Bitcoin, but blockchain. They've all said blockchain, not Bitcoin. So Chainlink's not actually a blockchain. It's actually a blockchain technology. So what that means is it's not just privy to crypto, it's privy to any blockchain that isn't crypto also. So blockchains are just a better ledger, a better way to keep a record of account, a better, faster, more efficient. It shows you the truth in real time. You can see it on the blockchain. You cut out all the middleman, right? All these people who you need to pay to do X, Y, and Z. So you make things a lot cheaper and faster, more efficient. It's pure efficiency in the financial system. That's what blockchain is, right? Now, Chainlink, what Chainlink's doing is, in order for the financial system to actually use blockchain, they don't want to trust Bitcoin. They don't want to put their assets on Bitcoin. They don't want to put their ledger, right? Their assets and their trade, their functionality. They don't want to put it on Ethereum. They don't want to put it on XRP. They don't want to do that. They want to make their own private blockchains, and they're already doing it, by the way. You can look up CBDCs. That's what CBDCs are. They're private blockchains. The Fed has one. The U.S. Treasury has one. J.P. Morgan has their own private blockchain. Australia's bank, blah, blah. There's bank after bank after bank who has these private blockchains. The issue is they can't actually communicate with each other without a connector, and that's what Chainlink is. Thus, the name Chainlink. So Chainlink enables interoperability between all these. Now it's been doing this in crypto. It connects all, like every single crypto uses Chainlink. About 80% of the whole industry uses Chainlink's one of their features, which is called an oracle, and it basically communicates real world data to the blockchain. So it's like crypto can't communicate with the real world. So it's like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense, right? It's on everything's on the blockchain. It can't communicate with the real world. And so what Chainlink does, it enables all the real world data. Like if you you wanted to buy your house in Bitcoin, or you want to make a loan, well, you need to have that person's identification. You need to have all their credentials. That's not on chain. That's in the real world. So this connects the real world data to the blockchain. It also happens to connect every central bank to other central banks without them having to throw their legacy system away and recreate a new blockchain that connects, because they don't want to know each other's information, right? You'd have to connect. They would be all interoperating. So instead of doing that, they're just using Chainlink as a middleman, except for it's an oracle. So what it does is it proves and validates that something is true. So now what you have is the Swift net. You know, you're familiar with Swift. You have to know Swift, right?
Right.
Okay, so Swift has been using Chainlink since 2014. They actually gave the founder, they basically said, hey, we need this technology to work globally. We need a global infrastructure, because it's really an infrastructure. We need a global infrastructure to move on chain. Whoever is able to build what we need, we're going to fund them. We're going to support them. So they've been working with with them for a while. The World Economic Forum came out with a white paper in 2020 that actually said Chainlink is one of the top 100 technologies that will change the world. You can look that up. I actually have a whole YouTube video on all this stuff that I'm talking about. It's hard. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a trader, so it's hard for me to really understand how to explain it in terms. This is why people don't understand it, because it's really hard to explain these terms. Who knows about how financial systems work? They don't really know. They're not in the banking system, but they're using this, right? So Swift is using this and they're successful. There's a bunch of banks in Australia that are using it. And what people are really trying to do, or the bank system's trying to do, is have you heard of real world assets on chain? Like taking the whole equity system, on chain. So instead of trading equities through these centralized entities, what they want to do is they want to move the entire banking system on a private blockchain that can talk to each other, that can talk to crypto, that can talk to the Russian central bank if it needs to, the Chinese central bank. So everything's moving on chain, so that what it does is on chain, it validates that something is true. You eliminate a lot of the fraud, you eliminate scams, you eliminate inefficiencies, all that stuff. So they're moving on chain no matter what. So Chainlink is the only.
Okay, let me ask the question. So chain link is basically, say I had $5,000. I wouldn't be creating a wallet like I would and have Bitcoin in it. It's different. You're talking maybe like internet system per se, like a analogy, like it's a
Analogy.
that
So
other things will use or what?
so the analogy would be like it's just like you open up a Coinbase account. So it's available on Coinbase, it's available on Robinhood, because it is a crypto. It's really hard to understand this because it's new. So it is a cryptocurrency,
Right.
but they're not currencies.
Okay.
They just call them cryptocurrencies because they use cryptography to validate the blockchain. That's why they're called
I follow
cryptos.
you.
They're not actually currencies.
Okay.
That's false.
So let me ask you a question about people's wallets being hacked and IDOs your money. Is that getting any better or not?
Yeah, so people's wallets get hacked because there's scammers everywhere, right? There's scammers for Wells Fargo, right? There's scammers everywhere. What happens is they're socially engineering people. They're calling them, hey, or they're on the website, hey, move your crypto here. And people that don't understand the industry are like, oh, okay, this new thing on the internet, right? The internet has all the scams. That's where they're all. That doesn't mean the internet's bad. It just means you have to have security with what you're doing. So most of the time when people get scammed, it's because my mom has Coinbase, right? She has some Bitcoin, but she'll get emails from a fake Coinbase address that says, hey, your account has been da da da. Can you please open up your credentials? And then they get scammed that way. So
Yeah, like any other, okay, like
yeah,
phishing emails, right?
phishing emails, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I get you. Honestly, I am not well versed enough to make an intelligent decision why I don't like cryptos. You're right, because my generation, just a lot of us are skeptical, you know. But you know a hell of a lot more about it than I do, and I agree. The future might just be that, because systems change, and inherently, it's no different than if you have faith in the system. It's just as good as any other system, monetary system. Yeah, wampum worked for a while, tulip did, and everything else. So I get what you're saying.
Right. And what I'm getting at here is that
Silver.
you say what?
Silver is manipulated. Okay. Speaking about Jamie Dimon and Chase. Okay. Silver has basically the amount of silver coming out of the ground and the amount of uses have been a deficit situation for a number of years. According to many analysts, silver should be trading at $200 an ounce. It's not, because they short the future contracts in paper and the physical never gets delivered. Okay, a lot of it in dark pools that you never see. The majority of the trades are. Okay, and if they ever saw that, and there's been hefty fines with illegal trading, if you go back, last 10 years against these commodity houses. Okay, JP Morgan Chase, nothing, from what I've read, okay, seems to be the biggest. I don't want to get myself in hot water, but that's public knowledge that they did get fined for illegal trading with commodities, not just that house, but many. So if any time they are not allowed to do, I think they should do away with dark pools, period, altogether. Like Bitcoin, one of the nice thing about blockchain, you see all the trades, like you said. When you're allowed to, and I think the uptick rule should be back in the stock market, because the shorting that takes place against so many stocks, and one of them I have Netlist. Are you familiar with Netlist at all? who
No.
owns the patents that were infringed upon by Google and Micron and major companies. Look it up when you have a chance. NLST. They basically had their patents stolen, 15 to 18 years ago, and nothing happens to them. So what I'm saying is that I'd like to see everything transparent. No dark pools, no naked shorting, no shorting, without owning the stock. And I think we have better markets. I really do.
Right, and that's what crypto is actually bringing is transparency. That's what it's supposed to be about, transparency. But of course, anything lucrative is gonna have scammers in it, right? A lot of the people who create cryptos, they're doing it just to make money. They're scamming people, just like influencers online. Go buy this, go buy that. But it's meant for transparency, and that's what Chainlink is bringing to the system, which is liquidity pools. It's allowing these people to plug in, these banks to plug in, and actually verify that something is true. Here's another thing, another aspect to it. They have another feature called proof of reserves. So what it does is it in real time. You know how you have auditors that go to financial system. FTX had an auditor, freaking Gary Gensler, but they still failed, right? So
Right.
this crypto also, and it's hard to like conceptualize what it is. Just think of it as an infrastructure, like a software, right? So what it does is it can also you can also put this blockchain technology onto the books of any ledger of any bank, any financial system, company, whatever, and it's going to prove in real time that the company has the assets
Right.
that they say they do, and anytime that changes, it's giving you real time feedback. That never existed, right? So that's new.
Right.
And number two, they have a zero
So
knowledge.
how do you invest in Chainlink? How do you invest?
I have it on Coinbase. Coinbase. It's called Link.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Got it.
if you go to my profile, look at the very first video. It says CBDCs because most people are like Chainlink, what?
Okay.
And just you'll see a brief summary of Chainlink. I don't know if you could tap
Right.
into it or go to my YouTube if you want, but just start doing some research on Chainlink. You can go to
I
Coinbase,
will.
and the reason why I'm big on this, and I've been in crypto since 2019, is because it's literally
Right.
backed by the central bank digital currencies. It's backed by Swift Network. It's backed by the World Economic Forum. They need this technology to work in order for them to increase their system efficiencies, right? So it's if let's put it this way: if Bitcoin and Ethereum failed, if the crypto market failed, Chainlink doesn't fail because it's not a blockchain, it's not a crypto, it's an infrastructure for blockchain technology.
Right. I do agree with you that BlackRock finally getting the ETF definitely will, bring some stability, to cryptos and more, it'll be used like by a lot of people. They will get money,
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
Right. So man.
That's true. Yeah. So write down a few silver symbols, okay? You may want to take a look and maybe give some to your viewers. Because I researched them all. These are the ones that I like.
Okay.
EXK. It's Endeavor Silver, based in Mexico. They're opening up a new mine soon. The biggest in the United States, Hecla Mining, the biggest reserves. Don't make a hell of a lot of money with the biggest reserves. And the other one, CDE and SFM. SFM is by far my favorite. Those four.
NSM. What'd you say? Say it again. NSM.
That's F is Fortuna Silver. F as in Frank. S Sam M Mary.
Oh
The one
yeah,
they use
FSM.
on the
Yeah,
chart.
that's what you were showing me.
Yeah.
Fortuna.
Oh, that's the sweetest fundamentals at all. You research that.
Okay.
The other one, take a look at. I'll let you go. It's NLST Netlist. Okay, research that company. I
Yeah,
ran it
you know what?
3 years ago.
There was another. No, I
Yeah.
remember that. There was another guy, another baby boomer. I'll just call you guys a baby boomers. No disrespect.
Right.
Respectfully.
No, it's
And
okay. I like it.
he would always jump on my stream and say NLST, NLST. I was like, bro, I don't know what the hell this is. And he would tell us, well, they had a patent.
It was me. It was probably me.
Was it you? Wait, who are you? You're Steve. Was that you? You're the one telling me back.
Was me.
Oh, that was you, bro. Wow, because you're saying that they were
That
getting.
was me.
You're saying that they got they basically got what, investigated, and now they explain it.
Okay. Bottom line, you ever see the film that came out where Google Maps basically stole the technology from the small little company that they met? These two guys met with them, and they basically took their technology and developed it without licensing it.
I-
And It went to court and they lost. The two inventors lost. Okay.
Okay, they lost.
So the story on Netlist is they lost. The story on Netlist, Mr. Hong, who came from South Korea, right, an engineer, developed RAM memory that was twice as or 3 times or 10 times as fast as any chip out there. Okay.
Okay.
He made a meeting and he met with Google engineers, right, who looked at the technology and they were going to do some kind of deal together. And basically, the technology was borrowed, we'll leave it at that, from them. They went to another manufacturer. They became a behemoth in search because of the chip, which was found embedded in their computers when they did a search. That was basically invented by the patent from Netlist. Okay, without royalties or without any money given back to them. So they became a behemoth because their search engines were then 10 times as fast as anybody else. Okay, Samsung later on and Hynix. Make a long story short, their technology in more than one case was used without royalties being paid, without license agreements. So they've been at court now for over 12 years on suits against Google, against Samsung, Micron. Those three are going now. They settled with Hynix for $40 million a while back. I ran the stock from 87 cents to $9. Okay, my brother-in-law and I.
How'd you get out? I remember you were saying.
Yeah.
Why'd you get out?
It had a huge run. They just won about a year ago, $303 million lawsuit against Samsung. The case was held in Texas, okay? And are you familiar with PTAB, what that is? It's the United States Government Patent Office who grants patents. The gripe on these small companies is the following, that they develop the technology, right? They get a patent. The larger technologies, not just this case, but it's the same thing with many other lawsuits that have taken place, they use a technology, right? Illegally, according to these smaller companies, and they're never compensated. And they don't care if they do it. So take me to court, sue me. And basically, they try to run these small companies bankrupt. And they have many of them. So Netlist won, for example, they won a $303 million lawsuit about a year ago. And it will be appealed. So they keep appealing the process. So the bottom line I'm trying to get to is they don't make any money yet. They're making negative about 2, 3, 4 cents a share every year after year. Well, they have to issue and dilute the shares in order to stay afloat. Right? So eventually, sooner or later, somebody's going to buy them out, or the settlements are going to happen, because if they get royalties on what they produce, you're talking in the billions of dollars.
So you ran it from what? Would you run it from again? You guys got
I ran it from 90 cents to $9.
Oh, damn. Okay, so you've made that.
Yeah.
That's that crypto.
Yeah.
That crypto move. Shoot.
It's a crypto return, right? But it's tanked now. And this batch I have now, I'm down. My average was about $4. I had to get out at $2, and now it's at $1.14 today. Okay. So they have to settle some of these lawsuits or get bought out by one of these companies, but the patents are still legit. They did create these, the license. They're basically not getting license fees. So it's something to look at. It's risky, but NLST is another one I like. I've got a big position, and a few of my friends do. So
okay, Steve.
That's pretty risky. So
Steve, let me Isaiah. You want to tell Steve in a better manner? He's a software engineer. He can explain Chainlink way better than me.
Oh, okay. Good. I'd love to hear it.
He's a software engineer, so he can tell you how that infrastructure is working. He actually gave me the idea. Isaiah, you want to tell Steve really quick? He's a baby boomer, but this might be his first crypto buy. See if he's there.
How you doing? I'm here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Chainlink. What part of Chainlink? Did you already give him like a high-level overview?
Yeah, I gave him an overview, but I probably used too many words. Oh, there he is. You're on mute.
Yeah, I think my.
Oh, I can see your face. Can you guys see my face?
No,
I only see my.
No, we can't see your face. You got to enable it.
How do you do that?
Just click on your screen. Click on your square, and then you can enable it that way.
Click on my square. Hold on here. Camera.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Click on your square and click on the camera icon.
I'm trying here. Let's see. It won't let me do the camera. I tried clicking on it. Let's see, save. Let's see. Try again here. I was wondering why I'm just seeing my little. Well, it's not going to happen. It's like
No worries, it's fine.
Okay.
But I can explain Chainlink though. Chainlink,
Okay.
if you think of it as a cloud provider like AWS or Google Cloud, that's the best way to wrap your mind around it. Where all of these other projects are usually a ledger, a decentralized ledger where they run nodes and they verify transactions. Chainlink's looking to be a marketplace where you can pay for services for your application. So you can pay for price feeds, you can pay for bridges, you can pay for real world assets, what Jeremy talked about, which is
Can I buy a house
the
with
proof
it?
of reserve. I mean, yes, you'll be able to tokenize your house with Chainlink. That's a thing where you'll be able to actually have the deed of your house be tokenized with the bank when banks start integrating this stuff, and it'll show you the history of your house. So on chain, you can have like, hey, this house had this work on it, or it was repurposed or as a mortgage-backed security. All of that can be on chain through Chainlink because that's real-world data that can be moved on chain to verify something. And that's just one aspect of it. And you can use it. There's going to be a new thing called DECO, which is zero knowledge proofs, which is proving something without revealing it to the world. So proving that you've owned something or proving you have a good credit score without your data going on chain. You can prove that with DECO. Chainlink functions is another thing that gives you compute without having to run servers at all. You don't have to run an AWS stack. You can do things serverless using Chainlink functions. So I would like to think of it like a decentralized AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. It gives you a bunch. It's a bucket of services for your application. That's a real use case. Where all these other cryptos is buy them and earn yield on them. Chainlink doesn't do that. It's actually a
Hey,
service.
YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and get going. I need to hit the gym. But appreciate you guys as always. I'll be on TikTok if you guys want to check it out. All right. Stay blessed as always. And we'll see you next time. Tomorrow we got retail sales. Let's go.